Hey team, I wanted to explore some trade scenarios. Exploring trades is always fun. Speculating is always a fun time. We're going to be looking at a Bleacher Report article written by Carrie Miller. So shout out to them for making this article. We're going to be looking at trade scenarios for every single team in the league. Yes, including the Pirates. Things we should, keep in mind and remember is that Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez are free agents at the end of this season. Other guys like Cody Bellinger and Alex Bregman are free agents. They opted out of their contracts. Cody Bellinger opted out of his contract with the Yankees. Alex Bregman opted out of his contract with the Red Sox. So we're going to go through every team by division, and we're going to start with the American League East with the Baltimore Orioles. So they need a trade for relief pitching. I'm pretty sure they need some support for Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers, if you don't know, he had such an amazing season. They need support for him. Says here the prime target is Pete Fairbanks from the Tampa Bay Rays. Interesting. He's got a $12.5 million club option. Does Baltimore really want relief pitching? I feel like the bigger priority is starting pitching. They let go of Corbin Burns and they got burned. The Orioles pitching just could not stop giving up runs from the starter position. It says here the Orioles traded away these guys. These are all relievers. So trying to restore what they traded away. I don't know. I think starting pitching is the bigger priority here. They should trade for I don't know who you would trade for. The free agent market this year, this offseason, is there's not a lot of big pitchers available. You're gonna have to shell out a lot of money for, I think the best available guy is like Michael King and Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez has had injury history before. Michael King is a certified killer though. However, lots of money has to be committed to him, which honestly I think Orioles should go for. In terms of trading though, the Orioles are better off going for Freddie Peralta, the starter for the Milwaukee Brewers. There have been rumors that he's on the trading block, and I mean, the Brewers have a surplus of pitchers. They have a lot of good pitchers, and they really need offense. So if Baltimore could provide that in return for a starting pitcher in Freddie Peralta, that could be really great. They trade for Freddie Peralta, and then they spend money in the offseason by getting a really top tier, like a Michael King starting pitcher. Has two amazing starting pitchers right there that they could go for. I think that would be the best case scenario for Baltimore, honestly. It remains to be seen if Baltimore is willing to spend that kind of money though, because they did not opt to bring back Corbin Burns a couple years ago. All right, let's move on to the next team. Boston Red Sox. It says here they need a trade for an established, versatile infielder. They have Trevor Story at short, and they have Alex Bregman at third. Alex Bregman, like I mentioned earlier, opted out of his contract, but he could come back with a better contract, which means Red Sox would have to spend money. Also worth noting, Trevor Story is still pending his opt-out. He can opt out too. There's a chance he comes back that's not guaranteed. I think maybe the Red Sox go for Alex Bregman, or they try to bring him back. The trade target that they would go for, possibly Mauricio Dubon. What is he, second? He's a second baseman? The Red Sox do need defense. They need to be better defensively. Let's see where the defense ranked last season. Oh, look at that. The Red Sox committed the most errors in the entire league for the regular season. Maybe they had a decent fielding percentage. Nope. Also the worst fielding percentage in the league. So yeah, the Red Sox really need to improve that defense. So I like this. I like this trade. All right, next team, the New York Yankees. Their need is apparently outfielder, and that target would be Steven Kwan. They'd have to give up a lot for Steven Kwan. They would have to give up a lot. Yeah, Kyle Tucker has been thrown around as a name that the Yankees would potentially go for. As a baseball fan, I don't want King Tucker to play for the Yankees. Please go anywhere else. But if I'm a Yankees fan, I would definitely want Kyle Tucker. I think you pay him the money he wants, and not only is he going to help in the outfield, he's going to help a lot on offense. He's going to help with the Yankees going cold offensively in the postseason. So that would be a big get. Steven Kwan, though, as a trade target, I would like that. However, it's gonna be so costly. It's gonna be so costly that you would much rather just pay Kyle Tucker. Would I rather one over the other? I feel like okay, defensively speaking, you definitely want Steven Kwan over Kyle Tucker. Also, Steven Kwan is really good offensively. He's not a home run hitting guy, which is the Yankees are basically all home run hitting guys. Steven Kwan is the guy who sees a gap in the field and he'll hit it in there, and he'll do everything he can to get on base and move traffic over. The Yankees need a guy like that with a different, offensive philosophy, not just hit home run or strikeout. Like you don't need that. We saw that with the Blue Jays series, and the Yankees got really blown out every single game because they were trying to hit home runs every single time. A Steven Kwan would be amazing. Ranking this trade, though, I love it for the Yankees. However, it's a luxury. Oh, he's 28. What? I thought he was older than that. Wow, he's gonna get a huge contract. Yeah, someone's gonna pay him a lot. Honestly, I think the Yankees might not even get him. So if the Yankees want to be aggressive and really improve that defense, they go for Steven Kwan. All right, next team, Tampa Bay Rays. They need to offload Pete Fairbanks. In search of what? I have no idea. You can tell I didn't pay attention to the Tampa Bay Rays. I'll just be honest. But honestly, I guess they just trade Pete Fairbanks for anything they can get back in return. That's good. Tampa Bay is a team to watch this offseason because I think they might be going for Pete Alonso if Tampa Bay just decides to finally pay a free agent for once, which could happen. I mean, they finalized a sale and they got a new ownership. So, maybe they could sign Pete Alonso. And trading Pete Fairbanks on top of that, and they're going to play at Tropicana Field next year. Whoa, dude. Tampa Bay is going to look completely different. Well, we'll see. I think they trade Pete Fairbanks just for whatever it presents itself. Next team, the Blue Jays, a trade for a starting pitcher. Also, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, and Shane Bieber all have player options, and you have to assume that they're all going to opt out. They need to rebolster their starting pitching, and says here that their prime trade candidate will be Sandy Alcantara. Wow. This seems like a really risky trade. He's been trying to work back from injury. Last year posted a 5.36 ERA, pitched how many games? Or started how many games? Started 31 games. So he pitched a fully healthy season, which is great. This is a risky move for Toronto. I honestly would rather go for Joe Ryan. I don't think I'd take this if I'm Toronto. I would definitely go for Joe Ryan instead, or search for another free agent pitcher on the market. However, the reason why this trade is up here is because, like I said, the offseason free agent pool is not very deep. I don't like it, but it might be something they have to do. All right, moving on to the American League Central, starting off with the Chicago White Sox. It says here they just need to trade Luis Robert Jr. For Chicago, just trade him wherever. Just find him a place, get something back. It's gonna be hard to find a team that's gonna want to eat this. Maybe the Cincinnati Reds. I'm not sure. If I'm the White Sox, definitely trade. If I'm the entire league, I would hesitate to touch this with a 40-foot pole. Next team, Cleveland Guardians. A trade for a starting pitcher. And the target would be Washington's Mackenzie Gore. Whoa, dude. That is a huge asking price. Mackenzie Gore, up-and-coming Mackenzie Gore. Man, that is crazy. Says you're trading away, Steven Kwan is on the table. Yeah. Would Washington want Steven Kwan? They're going to need more than Steven Kwan to compete. Trading for Mackenzie Gore is going to be extremely costly. I think, didn't Washington say he's untradeable? Like he's on the untouchable list? I don't know, man. I mean, I would love this trade for Cleveland. If I'm Washington, honestly, I don't even like this trade. If I want to compete next season, it's going to take more than Steven Kwan. Washington needs to think about the next 3 or 4 seasons, honestly, and they need to keep Mackenzie Gore. I don't know. I think both sides will probably pass on this. Next team, Detroit Tigers. A trade for a starting pitcher. Oh, yep, they also need a starting pitcher. They also put up a rookie to start in the postseason games. I've heard a lot of talk about Tarek Skubal's final season potentially being next year for the Tigers. I don't want it to be true. I want him to stay forever. I'm not even a Detroit Tigers fan. I just like them. However, one thing is also true. They need to bolster that starting staff. It says here the prime target is Emmett Sheehan. It makes sense. The Dodgers have a lot of pitchers. They might be willing to part with one of them to get something back. Yeah, this is up in the air for me. I don't really know enough about Emmett Sheehan. There's not a lot of free agent pitchers in this offseason. A lot of teams are going to hold on to their starters for dear life. So this is a poke and prod and to see if the Dodgers are willing to trade someone because they have so many starters already on that roster. So I'd say Tigers, go for it. Do what you can. Do what you can. They definitely need another. They really need like 2 starters, really. All right, next up we got the Kansas City Royals. They need a trade for an outfielder. And the prime target would be Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox. Ooh. How badly do they need an outfielder? How badly does Kansas City need an outfielder? Its outfield has posted an F-WAR of 0.1 over the past 2 seasons combined. Wow. Honestly, yeah, I think I like this trade. Depends. It depends on what Kansas City would have to give up, but if they can go for Jarren Duran, I think they go for it. If I'm Boston, I think I'd be okay for, what was their need earlier? Trade for an established versatile infielder. I don't think Kansas City would be able to give them back a quality infielder in return. So I like this trade for Kansas City, but I don't like it for Boston. Minnesota, a trade of Joe Ryan. Just offload him, I guess. Man, that trade deadline was one of the saddest. It was one of the saddest deadlines I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. That was crazy. I've never felt such a cloud of just despair from the other side of a television screen. I could feel the cloud of despair in Minnesota here in California. I mean, my God. And now they have to trade Joe Ryan. They're in full rebuild mode right now. Honestly, there's not really much to talk about here. Just trade for whatever you can. Get as many prospects as possible. He's going to get a lot. Joe Ryan is going to get a lot. Sorry, Twins fans. Hopefully the owners sell soon. However, press X to doubt. Moving on to the American League West, starting with the Athletics. They need a trade for a starting pitcher. However, it's not the only thing they need. They need more than that. It says here the target should be Clay Holmes. You probably need more than that. They probably need 3 starting pitchers. But yeah, if I'm Oakland, if I'm the Athletics, go for any starting pitcher that you can get. Next team, the Houston Astros, a trade for a starting pitcher. Yep, Framber Valdez is a free agent. I don't think he's coming back. They need somebody with Hunter Brown by his side. A running theme you've seen throughout this article is that Team X team needs to trade for a starting pitcher. And yeah, it's just the way the offseason free agent market is this year. It's like I said, it's shallow pool. So any team that's looking for a starter just needs to get whatever they can get. And one of the targets is Mitch Keller from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mitch Keller did not have a good year last year. He 6-15, 4.19 ERA. That's okay. I think the Astros could turn him into a good pitcher. Pitching coaches seem to do that with every pitcher. I think it'd be a pretty good risk to take. He's owed a lot of money. And if I'm Pittsburgh, I would take this. Go for any offense at all. Please give Paul Skeens some run support. Give him a reason to stay in Pittsburgh. You gotta do something. If I'm Pittsburgh, I definitely go for this trade. If I'm Houston, honestly, I take this risk. I like this trade for both sides. Let's see. The Angels. It's my team. Whoa. A trade of Taylor Ward. I'm surprised, actually, that they didn't trade him last trade deadline. Or even the year before that. However, Taylor Ward's trade value is at an all-time high right now. He has had the best offensive season of his career. One thing is for sure, though, he's not the best defensive outfielder. You will never see him throw somebody out at home when they have a runner, when the opponent has a runner on second base in scoring position and they single a ball to him. He will never throw them out. He won't even make it close. The third base running coaches will they will put up the signal. They will send home the runner before the runner touches third base and Taylor Ward already has the ball in his glove. They will still send him and they still make it. You just have to know that if you're a team acquiring Taylor Ward. Offensively though, really amazing. He's gonna bolster any offense that he goes to. The Angels would just have to look to offload Taylor Ward for anything. The thing that they need for sure is starting pitching. I think that is the most pressing issue for the Angels. They're gonna bring back Reed Detmers as a starting pitcher. Jose Soriano and Yusei Kikuchi are coming back. Chase Silseth would probably be the fourth, but they would like an ace or another fifth starter or something. I love Taylor Ward, but he has such great value and the Angels are in such need. And we're at that point where the Angels kind of need to start coming out of that rebuild mode. The Angels were actually in the wild card race for a while. August, they were still in the wild card race. So they could build on that this next season and make a stronger push by trading Taylor Ward and getting a starting pitcher. So I would go for it. Next up, we got the Seattle Mariners. They would need to trade for a corner outfielder, and that would be Lars Nootbaar of the Cardinals. If I'm Seattle, I think I would rather go for a more offensive-sided player. The Mariners did really good. There's not really much to shore up. That Game 7 went down to the wire. I mean, on another day, if that Game 7 was to be replayed, I think the Mariners could have won that and be in the World Series right now. With a starting staff that dominant for Seattle, I feel like adding even more offense would be a good idea. All right, next up, for the Rangers, a trade of Adolis Garcia. They have been susceptible to just getting kept down offensively, so maybe they should go for some offense, especially with Adolis Garcia putting up sub 700 OPS in the past 2 seasons. Salvage him while you can. All right, moving on to the National League East, starting off with the Atlanta Braves. They need a closer, and Pete Fairbanks is on the market. I think this is a good idea. I think this is a good idea for both Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Marcell Iglesias is going to be a free agent, and if you're Atlanta, you would probably be better off spending that money on something else. So if you could trade for Pete Fairbanks, that would be the best option. I think I like this. I like this for both sides. Next up, we got Miami, and it says here they need a trade of just Sandy Alcantara. Gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to offload that. He's owed $38 million in the next 2 years. If I'm Miami, honestly, I would try to just make him work. I mean, it's his first full season back from injury. Now that he's gonna have like a full season under his belt from coming back and a full off season, maybe you try to make him work next season. Honestly, if I'm Miami, I think I keep him. I try to make him work next year. Moving on to the Mets, they would need an offload of Jeff McNeil. So $30 million in the next 2 years. This would be a cost-cutting move, as mentioned here. They have so much money committed to Juan Soto and Lindor, so they would have to offload Jeff McNeil to offload this money. But we'll see what happens. Just trade him and get what you can for him. Next up, the Phillies. A trade for a catcher. And the target would be Adley Rutschman. Whoa. Adley Rutschman is one of my favorite players. I don't think Baltimore gives him up. Unless Philly is willing to part ways with one of their pitchers, starting pitchers, which is not going to happen because Ranger Suarez is going to get signed by someone else. And so they need to retain as much starting pitching as they can. Or they could just re-sign JT Realmuto. I think he's going to ask for a lot of money, though. He could also go for Jonah Heim. Honestly, maybe just go this route. Maybe just go for Jonah Heim. Don't trade. Do not trade for Adley Rutschman. Baltimore's going to ask for a lot. I just don't think it's worth it. Best case scenario, keep him. But I don't think that's going to happen. The Nationals. Says here they need a trade of Mackenzie Gore? What? This There's just no way this happens. There's no way you trade him. How even old is he? Bro, he's 26. He is untradeable. He is untradeable. You cannot trade this guy. You have to keep him. You got to build around him and CJ Abrams and James Wood. There's just no way you do this. Absolutely no way. This is trolling. This is trolling. Big fat no on this one. All right, moving on to the National League Central. We got the Cubs. They need a bullpen arm. Prime target could be Jimmy Herget. I already like this. I mean, I already like the Slim Jim. That's my guy. Wow. All restricted free agents. Aaron Savali, Michael Soroka, Drew Pomeranz, Brad Keller, Caleb Thielbar, Taylor Rogers. Wow. That many? That's crazy. There's a lot of free agents. Yeah, you definitely do this. I'd say go for it if you're the Cubs. If you're Colorado, also go for it. Cincinnati Reds, a trade for an outfield bat. An outfield bat, huh? They need more bats than that. And their prime target would be Taylor Ward. Now I think this is a great trade. However, if I'm the Angels, I'm gonna ask for a starting pitcher. Who is Cincinnati willing to part with? There's no way Hunter Green is on the trade block. I don't even think they're willing to part ways with Andrew Abbott. I think the Angels would ask for one of those guys. And honestly, being a wild card team at the last second, they would have to hold on for dear life for those guys. Ugh. I don't know. It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. If you're Cincinnati, you definitely go for Taylor Ward. It's just, do you definitely trade Andrew Abbott? Taylor Ward is a good fit. I would like that. If I'm Cincinnati, that would be a good fit. All right, next up we got the Milwaukee Brewers. They need a trade for a controllable starting pitcher. Do they though? Do they? And their prime target would be Joe Ryan. I'm gonna be honest. I hate this. I hate this. If you're Milwaukee, you need firepower. You need some firepower. The pitching is already stellar. You don't need this. You need offense. You need some guys. The thing about Milwaukee is that they're like the opposite of the entire league, where they have all guys who just only care about getting on base. They don't care about hitting home runs. They don't care, which is great. It's very unselfish play. It wins baseball games. But they do need to strike a balance and have one or two guys who try to go for those home runs. So I don't think they go for this trade. I don't think they even go for this starting pitcher. I think they go for like a home run hitter or something, like Eugenio Suarez or something. Just an example. I don't know how contractually that would work, but someone like him. Pirates, a trade of Mitch Keller. He's owed a lot of money. Offload him for whatever you can get in the offense department. Just get whatever offense you can to help Paul Skeens, please. That's really all there is to it. All right, next team, Cardinals, a trade of Nolan Arenado. He's getting older. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Honestly, just offload him to wherever you can. Same thing with the Pirates. Just offload him to whoever would give you the most. If I'm St. Louis, I would call the Angels and say, hey, you guys need a third baseman? It's not Anthony Rendon? Dangle the keys in front of their face. Try to get whatever you can for Nolan Arenado if you're St. Louis. All right, the final division, the National League West. Starting with the Diamondbacks, trade for a starting pitcher, and their target would be Edward Cabrera from Miami. Edward Cabrera, I didn't follow the Marlins. No, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who did, aside from the 10 Marlins fans. Let's look him up. Edward Cabrera. Let's see, 3.53 ERA, 27 years old. I think you can go for this trade. I think I like this trade. Ryan Nelson's gonna be good. Corbin Burns is gonna come back. Maybe Brandon Pfaadt resurges a little bit. Add Edward Cabrera to bolster that starting rotation. If all the stars align, there is a world that they make the postseason next year, and this would help. So I think it would be a good move. The Rockies, a trade of Jimmy Herget. We talked about this earlier. They just need to offload this this certified killer Slim Jim. Just get whatever you can for Jimmy Herget and continue to build. Dodgers, a trade of starting pitching. They have a lot of starters. They have 7 starters. See, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu, Glasnow, Otani, Sasaki, and Emmett Sheehan. Okay. Whoa, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's the Dodgers, dude. They're like the Chicago Bulls of baseball. Offload one of your guys and keep it going, I guess. Next team. The Padres need a trade for a first or second baseman. And that target would be Tampa Bay's Yandy Diaz. How would you do this? Tampa Bay's gonna... Well, actually... Wait, actually... Okay. There's a lot going on here. The Tampa Bay of before would do this trade simply because Tampa Bay's philosophy in the past decade has just been take really good player and just trade him and gets consistent pieces back so we can keep competing in the future. However, new ownership. So maybe they clutch their pearls a little tighter this time around. Maybe they opt to actually spend money in the offseason. So maybe with that new philosophy, I think Yandy Diaz becomes a little more expensive. I like this if you're San Diego. If I'm Tampa Bay, if I'm a Tampa Bay fan, I hate this. I hate this because if I'm a Tampa Bay fan, I hate my favorite players constantly getting traded. Yeah, just largely depends on the new philosophy of the new ownership. The Giants, a trade for a starting pitcher, much like half the league, honestly. Prime trade target Pablo Lopez. I would definitely do this. Minnesota is trading whoever right now, so if I'm the Giants, I love this. If I'm Minnesota, I hate my ownership. But you kind of have to do this if you're Minnesota. They're in full rebuild mode. But yeah, that's it. Those are all the 30 teams. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if you would do any trades differently or if you would go for different targets. This was fun. I like doing these. Just speculating on trades and stuff and what teams should go for. Maybe we'll do this again if another crazy article comes out about trade or free agency destinations or something like that. Anyway, thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you at the game.